So I was perusing the internet and I saw this article was saying that Ezekiel Elliott um, proved that he was smart by putting the Dallas Cowboys' feet to the fire with his contract. Smarter than Todd Gurley, basically. Todd Gurley got his money, believe it or not, but they were saying in this particular article that Ezekiel Elliott was wise, his camp was wise by looking at the writing on the wall and to hold Jerry Wayne Jones and to jump and to be smarter than Jerry Jones is it's a big deal. Believe it or not, by him holding their feet to the fire and getting his money. My thing is, life is all about decisions, choices, things that you make down the line, how you can increase your bottom line too. And I think Ezekiel Elliott Camp won. They saw the face value of running backs and they said to themselves, the only thing that Ezekiel Elliott had was his health situation. He never was injured there. I say we can knock on some wood. And durable. And when he did play, the Cowboys changed. When Ezekiel Elliott plays well, 9 times out of 10 they win. I'm gonna repeat: when Ezekiel Elliott plays well, 9 times out of 10 they win. And it's so hard to make that proper assessment, especially when you have Dak Prescott as the quarterback and you don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg, or is it really what's good for the goose is good for the gander, you see. So that is always the situation when we look at it as relates to Ezekiel Elliott play, opposed to, dare I say, a Dak Prescott. Because one can say, well, Dak Prescott won Rookie of the Year. But Dak Prescott probably would not win Rookie of the Year if you don't have Ezekiel Elliott putting up those numbers. And we do know that Ezekiel Elliott, the running back, don't get all of the shine that a quarterback get. So it's quite funny to me that when we look at this entire picture and we say to ourselves, this is exactly who Ezekiel Elliott is. And I do know that when Ezekiel Elliott, before he was even drafted, I was making videos, or I was talking about the fact that Ezekiel Elliott may be, dare I say, the best running back this decade. I think that Ezekiel Elliott, well, last decade, heading into this decade, well, half of that decade, because I think Adrian Peterson pretty much got the cherry on the top of that. But what I'm saying is that I was saying I had the argument that Ezekiel Elliott was better than Todd Gurley. And a lot of people, including some Cowboy fans, were like, nah, Lord, Todd Gurley is that dog. But Todd Gurley folds, and he got this injury situation. And it's not his fault. Don't get it twisted, Cowboy Nation. Don't look at it and say to yourself, well, the law is just like Ezekiel Elliott because he played with the silver and blue. But I was talking about the different styles of running. Now, Todd Gurley is a dog within a dog of himself, you see. But I'm looking at Ezekiel Elliott, catches the ball out of the backfield just like a Todd Gurley, can run in between the splits, can hurdle, can do all of those things. But on top of that, he stays healthy. Knock on some wood. But I will say this too. If Ezekiel Elliott never had Roger Goodell, who had an axe to grind with Jerry Jones, if Roger Goodell never put his hand in the way, I think that Ezekiel Elliott would have been just crazy good for us. But by it being Roger Goodell's having that fight with Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones tried to take the man money. I think Roger Goodell makes anywhere from $42 to $45 million a year. And Jerry Jones tried to took that money from him. So I know a lot of people right now, you'll be mad if somebody took $45 from you. You'll be mad for crying out loud if somebody took $5 from you. A nickel. Some people be looking at it like, nah, man, we finna throw them hands because you took this nickel from me. Can you imagine $45 million? And you guys think that Jerry Wayne Jones didn't have that battle with, dare I say, Roger Goodell? And Roger Goodell try to find any little small thing. But it seems like as of present day that their beef, their battle, their upset with each other is going to be swept under the rug, basically, or is swept under the rug, basically. It seems like it. It seems like, but you never know. You never know how these guys can get jaded at a picnic or at this draft owners meeting, whatever it may be. We don't know. We just don't know, Cowboy Nation. But I can say that when I look at that article, I start to think about Derrick Henry. Will he ever get his bag? Because they just put the franchise tag on him, and then they circumvented by paying Ryan Tannehill $29.5 million a year. He only played, 8 games? And they're looking at Derrick Henry like, nah, dog, we can get somebody else to do this. But you can play under this franchise tag. Oh, but they got to July the 15th. They may be working on a long-term deal. But 9 times out of 10, they're not. Running back classes are always difficult. We just saw the other kid that went from Arizona Cardinals. Y'all can help me out. I think his name is David. Now he's with the Texans. They just move these running backs around. And on top of that, if you think about what we did in the preseason last year with Tony Pollard, everybody was clamoring, saying, okay, let's just start this thing off with Tony Pollard. Let's just kick this thing going. Let's keep it going for 1,000% at Tony Pollard, and let's just see if we can get some draft capital with Ezekiel Elliott. But Jerry Jones would not allow that. I think that Ezekiel Elliott is number 4, number 5 in top selling jerseys. Don't you know that revenue and that brand and that representation goes all the way back to the star that's on my head right now? So I think that Jerry Jones looking at it like, nah, I can't get rid of my money. And then on top of that, Ezekiel Elliott, when he plays well, we win games. So we got to look at all of those things with this running back situation. I just want to know how you guys feel about Mike McCarthy, though. Do you guys think that he really going to elevate the running game? Because I think he is. In my opinion, I think by them bringing back a Skip Pete, looking at this collective body of work, what Ezekiel Elliott did before him with Gary Brown, and looking at what Skip Pete did with, dare I say, Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson. Remember that game? They ran all over us. Just run it all over us. C.J. Anderson, Todd Gurley in that playoff game. And we couldn't stop them. We couldn't stop the bleeding. They just kept gashing us. Now, one can say that, hey, it's because of the way our defense was constructed. Nothing to do with the running backs coach. Nothing to do with that. But anytime you get C.J. Anderson running like that, then you got to contribute something to that running backs coach. So we will see if these guys run like that this year. Oh, my goodness. Because our main problem, our main issue is with Ezekiel Elliott. If you look at his snap count, and I wish I had all the graphics that can jump on the screen with you, but I don't have time to put all of those graphics up. But just take my word for it. He had more snaps last year than any other year he played in the NFL. And we had a dog behind him, Tony Pollard. That is the foolery that the last coaching staff had. You go out there and you draft a Tony Pollard, and then you give Ezekiel Elliott the most snaps that he ever had. That don't make sense. We didn't make a lot of sense. We didn't. We just try to line them up, lace them up, and say we do what we do best. And Tony Pollard would get 100 yards, and then you look back the next week, the very next week, the brother is on the bench. And then you throw him out there for crying out loud. I think it was the Minnesota Vikings game. It was one of those games that all of a sudden he wanted to play basketball with the football. It could have been that Eagles game. It's one of those games. Y'all help me out. Post me down. Post down the comment, or look, I can't even talk tonight. Post me the comment down below, or comment down below. That's low. Man, low. Let me take a sip to that. Now I can think. All right. Post when Tony Pollard fumbled that ball. And I think it was on our side of the field. We was close to the end zone, money zone, red zone, green zone, gold zone, whatever you want to call it zone. He was trying to say, okay, watch me dribble this thing. And I was looking at it like, no, don't throw him in now. The brother is cold. It was no continuity as it relates to this running back situation. But I really think that Ezekiel Elliott, all this offseason, he heard all of the naysayers. He heard everything about running backs and these sort of things. And he's been working out. He's been flat out working it out. So Now we're going to see a motivated, a better Ezekiel Elliott. On top of that, we're going to see a coaching staff that's not afraid to look at Ezekiel Elliott and say, okay, we trying to preserve you. You got the 90 mil. You got the paper in the bag now. You're going to get paid. You're going to get your money. So you don't have to worry about somebody else hovering or hanging behind you trying to take your place. It won't happen. You got your paper. Let's preserve you and let's bring in some multiple work action. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, you see. Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. Don't forget to post me your thoughts, your concerns about Ezekiel Elliott, this offense. Will Mike McCarthy be able to elevate Ezekiel Elliott? Will he be able to utilize a two-headed monster? Let me know. Let's go. Hit that subscribe button. Share. Sharing is caring. Yes, it is.